Hi Sam. I'm glad to see you today. Are you ready to learn a new word?
Hi Alex. Yes, I'm excited. What's the word for today?
Today, we're diving into the word.
Selten.
It means rare or seldom in English.
Oh, I see. So, is it more common to say rare than seldom?
Yes, exactly. Rare is definitely the most common meaning. And just a quick note, be careful with false friends. The English word seldom sounds similar to,
Selten.
but it doesn't always translate perfectly in every context.
Got it. Can you tell me more about how to use?
Selten.
Of course. It's an adjective, so it doesn't have a plural form. It can describe things that don't happen often. For example, you could say,
Das ist ein seltenes Ereignis.
which means that is a rare event.
And how do I conjugate it?
Adjectives like
Selten.
don't get conjugated in the same way verbs do, but you can compare it. For instance,
Selten.
is the positive form,
Seltener.
is the comparative, and
Am seltensten.
is the superlative.
Interesting. So, how would I say more rare and the rarest?
Exactly. You would say,
Seltener.
for more rare and
Am seltensten.
for the rarest. Just remember, if you want to say something is not rare, you can use the opposite,
Häufig.
which means frequent.
This is really fascinating. Where does
Selten.
come from?
Great question. The word
Selten.
comes from Old High German, where it was originally.
Selter.
Over time, the meaning has stayed quite similar, referring to something infrequent.
Wow, I love hearing about the history of words. It makes them more interesting.
Absolutely. Understanding the evolution helps you remember them better.
Can we break down
Selten.
a bit more?
Sure. The word itself is simple and not a compound, so we can't break it into smaller parts like we can with some other words. However, you can think of it as a building block. When you learn it, just remember it's about rarity.
That makes sense. Are there similar words I should know?
Yes. There are plenty of similar words. For example, with the prefix, you have
Unbekannt.
meaning unknown, and
Ungewöhnlich.
meaning unusual. Those are great for talking about things that are not common. Also, you have
Seltenheit.
which means rarity.
That's a good list. What about other words with the same pattern?
Sure. You can also think of words like
geheim,
meaning secret, which can relate to things that are not often revealed. Then there's
versteckt,
meaning hidden.
So they all share that idea of being not common.
Exactly. And if you want some more examples, consider
uninteressant,
meaning uninteresting, and
unwichtig,
meaning unimportant. They all follow that same idea of negating something.
I can see how useful this would be. Can you give me some real-life situations where I might use
selten,
Absolutely. Imagine you're at a museum. You could say,
die Ausstellung ist selten,
meaning the exhibition is rare.
Okay, let me try.
diese Gemälde sind selten,
Means these paintings are rare, right?
Perfect. Another situation could be when you're talking about a special event. You could say,
das Konzert ist selten,
meaning the concert is rare.
Great. And what about a third situation?
How about talking about experiences? You could say,
es ist selten, dass ich ins Theater gehe.
which means it is rare that I go to the theater.
Let me try that.
es ist selten, dass ich ins Kino gehe,
Means it is rare that I go to the cinema, correct?
Exactly. You're getting it.
What's a good way to remember that?
selten,
Is an adjective.
A good hint is that it ends in, which is common for many adjectives in German. Also, think of a rare animal, like a snow leopard, to visualize rarity.
That's a fun image. Are there any specific phrases I should know with?
selten,
Yes, some common collocations include
Selten gesehen,
meaning rarely seen,
selten gehört,
meaning rarely heard, and
selten erlebt,
meaning rarely experienced.
Those are really useful. Are there any words that are commonly confused with?
selten,
Definitely. People often confuse it with,
häufig,
which means frequent or often. Just remember,
selten,
is the opposite of that.
Got it. Can you quiz me on what we've learned?
Sure. First question, what does
selten,
mean in English?
It means rare or seldom.
Great. Second question, what's the comparative form of
selten,
Is it?
seltener,
correct? Third question, can you give me an example of a sentence using
selten,
es ist selten, dass ich früh aufstehe,
Means it is rare that I wake up early.
perfect? Fourth question, where does the word
selten,
originate from?
It comes from Old High German.
Good job. Last question, what is the opposite of
selten,
That would be
häufig,
excellent? You've really grasped this.
Thanks, Alex. This was really fun. What's the key takeaway for today?
Remember that
selten,
is all about rarity. Use it to describe things that don't happen often, and keep practicing those phrases. You did an amazing job today.
Thank you. I'm looking forward to our next lesson.